Hey guys, this is Eckhartsladder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars video. Now, recently on X2, we've been looking at Star Wars fan projects, and this is something that I originally did over on the main channel, Eckhartsladder, but which I think fits X2 quite well. This is especially true given the fact that we're moving towards Star Wars Squadrons, and a lot of the fan stuff that I've talked about today, in the past, and we'll talk about in the future relates to Starfighter combat. So today we'll be looking at the YouTube channel SkyForge Film, which as of right now has only 561 subscribers, a number that hopefully we can bump up quite substantially. SkyForge Film is part of the new trend, I would say, of channels on YouTube which produce really high quality Star Wars animation. And the really cool thing about these guys is that a lot of them work together. And if you watch SkyForge's animation, you'll see lots of work from many creators that he worked with individually. We see ships from ECHenry and FractalSponge and Howard Day. And the cool thing is not only do these guys share ship models, but sometimes they'll improve on each other's models or change them for whatever purpose they need them. And I just think it's really cool that they're all willing to come together to help each other on their individual projects. And ECHenry actually even has a voice line in one of SkyForge's videos. Anyway, this community is really cool. I am sort of an outsider. I know most of these guys individually, but I don't have anywhere near the skills or talent or dedication to produce animations myself, but I like to watch, and when I can, even commission these guys for some work related to my main channel, which is how we got Battle of the Dreadnoughts. Anyway, I got a bit off topic. So SkyForge is ran by a guy named Ryan Fletcher, who I've talked to now, and he's a nice dude. I was first introduced to his work by Los Gross from the X2 community, and we watched his 4 videos together as part of a stream I did the other day, which was a whole lot of fun. Make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss that. Anyway, I want to do things a little bit different with today's video versus the TIE Fighter short film. Instead of breaking down every scene, I want to instead share with you guys the basic premise, then I'll give you guys my reaction. Now, I'll be reacting to every video that he has up on the channel, but just a reminder that you should still go over to and subscribe, watch the videos, because support for a new YouTuber is incredibly important. And right now, Ryan is putting out a lot of content, especially considering the quality. So make sure you subscribe, and some new gems will be popping up in your subscription box. Anyway, Ryan's project is called Star Wars Remnant. Ryan sent me a really cool write-up which talks not only about the project itself, but also the in-universe plot. And let's cover plot first. So Star Wars Remnant is meant to tell a classic Empire versus Rebels story through a series of small vignettes, mainly space battles and lore videos. Those are his exact words. The story takes place in Star Wars canon, but has some very common Legends ideas woven within. Basically, 4 years after the Battle of Jakku, an Imperial force disappeared from the galaxy and secured the Murren sector. This area of space is largely separated from the rest of the galaxy by nebula and black holes and more, and Ryan describes it sort of like the Hapes cluster from Star Wars Legends. Anyway, the Empire managed to take control of this sector, and most of the content associated with this project will be set in 13 ABY, 4 years after the Empire captured the Murren sector, with the New Republic trying to assist local defense forces in rebuilding and defeating what Ryan calls the Imperial war machine. That's the plot. So when it comes to the actual project, Ryan really wanted to focus on creating a force which would be isolated and separate from the rest of the galaxy. So we see the spunky rebel alliance that we know and love, despite the fact that the New Republic is technically in power. On the other hand, the Empire is still trying to build up and create perhaps a redoubt for the rest of the Imperial forces within the galaxy. Ryan says that his plans are to keep improving on a technical level, slowly introducing more storytelling elements like lore videos about ships and whatever else, kind of expanding the channel as we go along. And that's the cool thing about getting in early. We can give Ryan valuable feedback and help give him information so he can determine what's the best way to take his channel. Ryan finally mentions that this is all possible because of the amazing modelers and artists like Howard Day, Angelos Cartarinas, ECHenry, Ansel Howe, and Adam Birch. Without their generosity with models, resources, and advice, I wouldn't be where I am now. So that's, as we discussed, the tight-knit nature of the Star Wars modeling and animation community. With that being said, let's now go to SkyForge's channel, and I'll give you guys my feedback on what I've seen. And just a spoiler alert, I'm really liking it so far. Alright, so the first video is called Cargo Raid, and you'll have to excuse me, I can't play the audio. I will get copyright flagged. Not only will that mean I don't make any money, which isn't the big deal, but these videos have typically been blocked in certain countries if Star Wars doesn't like how I've used their music. Anyway, let's take a brief look at the crawl, and this is called Cargo Raid. It starts off, of course, with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Then we get kind of what we've discussed earlier, a small rebel force trying to disrupt an Imperial cargo shipment. This is a very sort of self-contained story, which I quite like. And we see already some nice Gazanti models. I assume these are FractalSponges, but I don't know all the details. I don't want to accidentally give credit, but some really nice animation with the flying here. And let's just pause it. So actually, I'll let it go a little bit further. So already we're seeing more of the community. We've got some beautiful A-Wings. Don't know where these are from. But also, this is one of Howie Day's Corellian Corvettes that he's making for his short film, which I discussed on the main channel, which is just amazing. I don't even know if it'll be a short film by the time he's done. But it all looks like having the models is one thing, but knowing how to properly render it, how to make them move, everything else, that adds a whole lot. Another one right there. Ryan was actually telling me too that one of these models is his creation. At first I thought that he might only be an animator, not that that's a bad thing at all, but it turns out he actually does do modeling as well, which is really cool. I think Ryan's strongest suit, or strongest ability, is how he animates his fighters. He does a really great job with making the animation just seem really kind of realistic, at least in a Star Wars universe. And he also has lots of turret scenes, which you guys know I'm an absolute sucker for. And again, considering that Ryan is still learning, a lot of this is very, very impressive. The Gazantis are moving nicely. You can see that they're kind of vectoring away to try to escape. They do the classic Star Wars thing we were talking about on stream where they start to fall even though there's no gravitational source, but that's not a problem at all. The capital ship movement is a little more static than the Starfighter stuff, but again, I think that's just due to Ryan still learning. And we do see, like, I love that shot of the Corvette there flying by. It's just great. But yeah, the Starfighter stuff is just phenomenal. And it's only going to get better too. So this one's pretty short, a small rebel victory. But I mean, just look at the lighting, look at everything. He sort of employs the Howie Day style background stars, which I think is awesome. And yeah, good win for the Alliance. And again, this is a small vignette, and you'll see too, as we start to put them together, that we're learning a bit of a story. This is one of FractalSponge's designs. I forget. It's based on the Colin Cantwell Star Destroyer. Or sorry, it's not FractalSponge, ECHenry, my mistake. Based on the Colin Cantwell Star Destroyer. I can't remember what he called it. I think the Pursuer, maybe. Let me just take a look. I think, but yeah, so what this is essentially Colin Cantwell designed the Star Destroyer before it became the Star Destroyer. The Incursor class, maybe? And it's very different, so ECHenry took it and basically adapted it to modern Star Wars aesthetics. But yeah, kind of hints at a future conflict, which we will actually get to see more of right now. Alright, so sorry about that weird cut there. Next up, we have the Battle of X-729. This is definitely my favorite, and this animation in particular is really, really cool. It shows some of the love for the Star Wars TIE Fighter series that pretty much everyone in the community seems to have. It's sort of been a thread that we've been encountering a lot recently, which is why this ties in really well with my Star Wars Squadron coverage, which we know Squadrons is essentially a spiritual successor to TIE Fighter. I think that's putting it pretty lightly. So let's just play. We see that Rebel fighters find themselves in a heated battle attacking an Imperial weapons facility. And if you guys played TIE Fighter, you'll recognize the design of this. It's the factory space station right here from the old TIE Fighter games. And just appreciate the movement on the fighters. There's lots of nice switching between cockpit shots and exterior shots. I think the space station itself is a really cool kind of center for this battle. The ties kind of perfectly. I love this turbo laser or laser cannon emplacement, by the way. And this shot is really amazing. Kind of trench run-esque. That A-wing just got absolutely annihilated. You see the smoke there, and I just love anytime a fighter like flies through a strut or like some support beam on a station. Like that scene in Rogue One where they attack the shield gate is just amazing. Quick little turn there, you know, doing a bombing run. It's very Rogue One-esque, in fact. You can see right there some nice little details. Like this may just seem like a shot where they're just flying around, but if you look, the X-wing actually does a run on this little turret right here. And yeah, it's just like kind of a really big game of tag or ring around the rosy. Also a destroyed TIE interceptor there. Nice little detail with this wobble. It gets shot in the engine and the X-wing loses control and goes right into a tower, which is amazing. This is just so good. The quality of this starfighter stuff, like he's really nailed that aspect of these videos early on, which is exciting. It speaks to the potential of this project, I think. There are other areas that need some work. I'm not trying to be overly critical of anything because I think it's great so far. But the TIE fighters and the X-wings and stuff especially is really phenomenal. So next up we have what's called a trailer for Remnant, and this kind of gives us some detail that we talked about earlier. It's been 8 years since the Empire's defeat at Jakku. We see the Incursor again, I think is the name of the Star Destroyer. Of course, we've got the Lancer, the FractalSponge Lancer, which fits in really nicely with this fleet, by the way. And that kind of hints at the size of this ship. This isn't a full-size Star Destroyer. It's significantly smaller than that. And we'll get to see that again in a second. But it's just awesome seeing these actually doing something. Because ECHenry creates so much cool stuff that otherwise might not be seen again. So yeah, we can see the proper ISD there. That's an awesome shot. Like, he's definitely got the cinematography down. And I encourage you to listen to these yourselves because you'll also get the music experience. And hold on. That is a shot that I did not notice last time I watched. That's that's thumbnail worthy. But like, yeah, the movement on the fighters absolutely nails it. We can see, I think that's Howie's MC-42, I think he calls that model. We got a Pelta there, which we'll be seeing again in a minute. And yeah, this is just really cool. And the dive on the Star Destroyer, just chef's kiss. All right, so let's move on to the final video for the channel right now. And by the way, these are getting pretty decent views. So I'm not doing this guy any charity or anything by showing you guys. I'm making a cool video for this channel as much as helping him out. So this one is called Flight of the Valiant. Imperial Task Force relentlessly hunts down a rebel group. That kind of reminds me of Howie Day's kind of his idea, but we also see that this is kind of a sequel to the first video we watched because we'll see the Star Destroyer pop up here. You can kind of get an idea of how the plot's going to go. So it's chasing the this Pelta here, and it just destroyed one of those Corvettes in the back. I love these launch sequences, really cool. Even rendering the person inside. And the A-Wings are just beautiful. I'm not sure if those are... those might be resistance type A-Wings. I didn't really get a good look. But the Colin Cantwell Star Destroyer has lots of really nice detail. I particularly love these turrets here. They're just so cool. We'll get a good look at them in a minute. But yeah. So there's a few things that like he'll improve on. One thing that I notice is that in Star Wars, when a gunner destroys a fighter, because they're such unwieldy weapons, usually they keep firing shots off afterwards. But that's like the smallest complaint ever. We got a nice little bombing run here. And again, the capital ship stuff is not quite as good as the fighter stuff. It's still really good, but we could see some movement there, but just like the speed that these A-wings are attacking with is so cool. Yeah, there's the big guns there. Nice explosion. So one thing I would suggest too is maybe keep the capital ships moving a bit more, like they are moving, I think, but because they're in space, it's hard to see their movement without a frame of reference. So even if one's just moving slightly faster than the other, or there's fighters around, that helps. Here are those big kind of rotary cannons, which I love. And like, look at this scene here, just like, that's awesome. Nice shot from the tower up here. I'd like to see some sort of shield bubble here, because it seems what's happening is that it's hitting the shield bubble, and eventually we'll see that, of course, that bubble fails. Just maybe include a visual effect or something, but I'm not an expert. I'm not trying to give advice, just something that I would like to see. Yeah, it knocks that wing right off, and of course the old Pelta, one of my favorite Star Wars ships, small Star Wars ships, is dead in the water. Like having the other cannons track, like that's a small detail too. But the fighters, man, I can't get over how good he animates these fighters. How well. Yeah, thing's dead. I love how the Star Destroyer is chasing down the Corvette as the TIE Fighter's chasing down the last fighter. And yeah, again, more great cinematography. Anyway, guys, that's my full look at SkyForge and his wonderful Star Wars short vignettes. I hope you guys will check the channel out and support the project in whatever form it takes in the future. I know that I've already subscribed with both of my channels, so maybe I'll see you guys in the comments on future uploads. Also, maybe let's just go blow up his most recent video. Just go check it out, and maybe we'll get as many views on that as we can. Till next time, though, guys, have a great one, and may the Force be with you.